What did we study in our previous video? In case if errors are identified after preparing trial balance and final accounts, how to rectify them? Because those errors are identified after preparing trial balance and final accounts, right? That means what? They are falling in next year. So, but these errors are pertaining to previous year. If any errors identified pertaining to previous year will be considered as prior period items in the current year. Since they are considered as prior period items, you have to prepare a profit and loss adjustment account, right? And we have to give a treatment, especially for nominal accounts in profit and loss adjustment account. This is what we learned in our previous video. So if someone has missed out, please go back to my previous video and watch that video till the end so that you will get to know about the total concept. In current video, in today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one illustration from Institute material and I'm going to explain in detail. Are you ready for that? Hi, my name is Krishna Akumalla. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Without wasting much time, let us get into the problem, illustration 8, and we discuss in detail about it. There is a beautiful concept in this problem. Don't miss this. Watch this video till the end. Okay? Right. Let us get into the problem. Okay, guys. Let us first read the problem and then we'll start looking into the solution. Okay? Mr. Roy was unable to agree the trial balance last year and wrote off the difference to the profit and loss account of the year. Next year, he appointed a chartered accountant who examined the old books and found the following mistakes. So Mr. Roy was unable to agree the trial balance in last year. That means there was a difference in trial balance. He written off that balance to profit and loss account. Now in current year, what he did is he appointed a chartered accountant. The chartered accountant examined the books of accounts and he found the following mistakes. Now he is asking us to adjust those mistakes. Purchase of a scooter was debited to conveyance account of 3,000 rupees. They purchased a scooter but debited to conveyance account in last year. Purchase account was overcast by 10,000. Credit purchase of goods, Mr. P, for 2,000 was entered as a sale. Receipt of cash from Mr. A was posted to the account of Mr. B 1,000. Receipt of cash from Mr. C was posted to the debit of his account 500. 500 rupees due by Mr. Q was omitted to be taken to the trial balance. Sale of goods to Mr. R for 2,000 rupees was omitted to be recorded. Amount of 2,395 purchase was wrongly posted to 2,593. Mr. Roy used 10% depreciation on vehicles. Suggest the necessary rectification. This is a very, very important point. Mr. Roy used 10% depreciation on vehicles. See, this is the exact reason why I always suggest people to read the problem first, because the first transaction has relation to the last point. First transaction has a relation to the last point. Suppose without reading the problem, if you start, preparing the solution, you might end up missing this point. Then you will commit a mistake. Then you will unnecessarily losing the marks, right? So that is the reason if you could read the problem, then you will understand, oh, first point has a relation to the last point. We have to be very careful while preparing the solution. There, right. Now let us go with one by one. Purchase of a scooter was debited to conveyance account 3,000. Scooter is an asset. It has to be debited to scooter account. So vehicles account or otherwise scooter or vehicles. So what entry we generally would write? Vehicle account debit to cash account. This is how we need to write. This is the right entry, but they did not write like this. What did they write? They debited to conveyance account. Conveyance account they debited and cash account they created. This is the wrong entry. Correct entry is vehicle account debit to cash account or scooter account debit to cash account, whatever it may be. Now, what entry we are supposed to write now? Rectification entry. Rectification entry, what should be the rectification entry? Correct account debit is vehicle. So vehicle account debit, and wrongly debited is conveyance. So I need to credit that wrong debit. So wrong debit I need to credit, right? So to conveyance account. This should be the entry we generally post in stage 1 and stage 2. But we are in stage 3 now. What do you mean by stage 3? This mistake was happened. Debiting conveyance account to cash account was happened in last year. Guys, this topic is very, very, very interesting, and you have to be very, very careful while you have to listen to be very, very careful. What did they wrongly debited? They wrongly debited to conveyance account and created cash account. This is the wrong entry they posted. When did they post this entry? Last year. Last year when they post this conveyance account, conveyance is an expenditure. Conveyance is an expenditure. So if it is an expenditure, by end of the year in last year, what we would have done, this would have been transferred to profit and loss account. This conveyance amount would have been transferred to profit and loss account. Why it has to be transferred to profit and loss account? Conveyance is an expenditure. All expenses and losses have to be debited in profit and loss account. Hence, this conveyance already would have been transferred to profit and loss account. There is no conveyance account now. It is already transferred. So the wrong amount was already transferred to profit and loss account, and profits were calculated accordingly. So there is no conveyance account here. When there is no conveyance account, then where is the question of creating conveyance account? Vehicle account debit. Vehicle is an asset. You are absolutely, you are supposed to debit vehicle account because it is an asset, balance sheet item. It will continue for its useful life. Suppose if vehicle useful life is 5 years, this vehicle will continue for next 5 years in the balance sheet. But conveyance is what? Conveyance is an expenditure that has been already debited to profit and loss account. There is no conveyance now. When there is no conveyance, where is the question of creating conveyance here? So you should not credit conveyance account. But which account do I need to credit then? Which account I am supposed to credit? P&L adjustment account. P&L adjustment account. So let me write proper entry now. So vehicle account is the debit. Vehicle account debit to, actually speaking, conveyance account we are supposed to write. We should not write. Why? Conveyance account was already transferred to profit and loss account, and conveyance account got closed in previous year itself. This year can't credit to conveyance account. What account you are supposed to credit? Profit and loss adjustment. You need to credit profit and loss adjustment account. Why we are creating to profit and loss adjustment account? Because this amount was already debited to profit and loss account in last year. So you need to adjust that in current year profit and loss account. When you are adjusting that in current year profit and loss account, you are not allowed to debit to credit to current year P&L account. So instead of adjusting that in current year P&L account, we adjust that in P&L adjustment account. This is what I explained in my theoretical class in my previous video. Kindly review that video so that you will understand that. So vehicle account debit to profit and loss adjustment account is the entry. Now amount, how much amount we need to debit. So vehicle purchased for 3,000, but there is a 10% depreciation on this. To that extent, P&L should be debited, right? So P&L adjustment account, when you are crediting, you should not credit for total 3,000. Even vehicle, when you are debiting, you should not debit vehicle for 3,000. Why? Because 1 year you already used that vehicle. 10% depreciation was already calculated on that. 10% on 3,000 is going to be 300. So the net value of the asset carry forward to current year is 2,700. So your entry is going to be vehicle account debit 2,700 to profit and loss adjustment account 2,700. This should be the journal entry you need to post. See here. After adjusting profit and loss account, you need to, after adjusting depreciation, you need to post an entry like this. Are you clear? Right. Next one. Purchase account was overcast by 10,000. Purchase account. If I prepare purchase account, this is all these things happened in last year. Please remember that. This purchase account was overcasted by 10,000. Overcasted by 10,000. So what will happen if it is overcasted? Here there is a shortage. Here shortage. This shortage would have been fulfilled with a suspense account. See, when I prepare trial balance, this is overcasted. So that means here 10,000 is higher value. Debit is higher, showing higher value. That means there is a shortage in credit in trial balance. This credit should have been posted to suspense account. This shortage of credit should have been posted to suspense account. That means to the extent of 10,000, your suspense account balance would be showing 10,000 credit. Because to that extent, there is a shortage in credit side. Since there is a shortage in credit side, that shortage would have been posted to suspense account. So your suspense account is created with 10,000. You need to understand till that extent. Now, let me tell you, purchase account, right? This purchase account overcasted by 10,000. In stage one, what we used to do, by purchase account overcasting 10,000, we put and close this transaction. But you can't do like this because there is no purchase account in current year. There is no purchase account. Why there is no purchase account? This purchase account would have already been transferred to profit and loss account in last year because it is an expenditure. Purchase account, purchase is an expenditure, right? This purchase would have already been transferred to profit and loss account in last year. So where is the purchase? That got closed by transferring to profit and loss account. Since it is already transferred to profit and loss account, got closed, you have to adjust this in profit and loss adjustment. How do I adjust it? I already told you your suspense account was credited to the extent of this 10,000. Your suspense account was already credited to the extent of 10,000. So you need to debit that. Suspense account, debit 10,000. Because suspense account is having credit balance. I told you, right? Here 10,000 is overcasted. That means shortage in credit side. This shortage would have been transferred to suspense account. That means suspense account has a credit balance. That suspense account you need to debit for 10,000. Generally, we need to credit purchases, but we should not. Why? Purchase account was already transferred to profit and loss account. Then when it is already transferred to profit and loss account in last year, where is the question of purchase account now? No purchase account. Instead of purchase account, which account we use? Profit and loss adjustment. Profit and loss adjustment account 10,000. This is the entry unit. Suspense account debit to profit and loss adjustment account. The entry. Are you clear? Next. A credit purchase of goods from Mr. P 2000 was entered as a sale. We purchased. So when we purchase, it should come in debit side of the purchase. This is purchase account. This is sale account. Okay. So 2000 rupees was purchased and entered as a sale. So that means here it is entered. Here it is not entered at all. So 2000 entered in credit side. Sales is credit balance, right? So it has been entered in credit side. So this has to be rectified. If you want to rectify, you need to debit sales account to 2000. Correct? And you also need to debit purchase account. This is the right account to be debited. So totally purchase account has to be debited for 2000. Sales account also to be debited to the extent of 2000. This 2000 is required to nullify this, and this 2000 is the right debit to be done. So hence 2000 is debited. So totally purchase account debit 1000, sales account debit 2000. Which account we used to credit previously? In stage 2, we used to credit suspense account 4000. Suspense account 4000. But there is no stage 2 here. We are in stage 3. Stage 3, there is no question of writing these transactions. So what we are supposed to do? Let me explain once again. This is purchase. This is sales. Here it is recorded with 2000. Then the account would have been, since it is treated as a sale, the account would have been debited. The account would have been debited. Now, how do we post this entry? This has to be nullified. So 2000 has to be debited, and the purchase account is not debited. This is the right debit. So these two, purchase account and sales account, to be debited. Correct? Do you have purchase and sales account? They have already transferred to profit and loss account. When they are already transferred to profit and loss account, where is the question of purchase and sale? No question of purchase and sale. Instead of debiting to purchase account and sales account, we debit to profit and loss adjustment account, debit 4000. So this debit and this debit, instead of debiting purchase account, instead of debiting sales account, we debit purchase P&L adjustment account, debit 4000. Now, P account is debited with the 2000, right? This is actually is supposed to be credited, but we debited. So if I credit this and this will get knocked off. Where is the credit balance in P? So you need to credit one more 2000. So P account has to be created with 4000. P account credit 4000. This is how the entry has to be done. Did you understand why P&L adjustment account is debited? P&L adjustment account is debited instead of debiting sales account, instead of debiting purchase account. These two has to be debited, but I cannot debit purchase. I cannot debit sales. Why? Because they have already transferred to profit and loss account in last year and got closed. If they are already transferred to profit and loss account and got closed, I should not debit purchase and sales. Which account I need to debit? Because these nominal accounts have to be adjusted in profit and loss account. That is what we understood in our previous video. Hence, purchase profit and loss adjustment account is debited. Here P account is debited. It has to be credited actually. So I credited 2000 to knock off this, and I also credited another 2000 to bring in 2000 rupees balance in P account. So total P account has to be created with 4000. So P account is created. This is how the entry happens. Here profit and loss adjustment account to 4000. So the entry. Clear? Right. Next. A receipt of cash from Mr. A was posted to the account of Mr. B 1000. Instead of we received cash from A, so cash account debit, A account we are supposed to write. This is the right entry. But what we did, cash account debit, B account we created. This is the wrong entry. So here there is no problem in cash account. Problem is here in A account and B account, right? So B account is wrongly created. So I need to debit B account and I need to debit B account and credit to A account. B account debit to A account is the entry to step. Clear? Receipt of cash from Mr. C was posted to the debit of his account 500. Receipt of cash from Mr. C. When we receive the cash from C, what entry we write? Cash account debit to C account. So when I prepare the C account, I have to credit this amount, but they posted to the debit of his account. Here they debited. So what I'm supposed to do? I need to rectify this. To rectify this, I need to credit 500. So 500 got knocked off. Where is the credit in C? So I need to bring another 500. So total, how much amount I need to bring in C account? 1000. So C account has to be credited with 1000. Then which account I have to debit? I have to debit suspense account. Why suspense account has to be debited? When there is a debit here for 500, that means what will happen? My suspense account would have been short in credit side. See here, C account, instead of crediting, I debited 500. Since it is debited 500, instead of credit, 1000 rupees shortage in credit side. This 1000 shortage, always think from shortage point of view. Your life will be very easy. So when there is a 500 rupees debited here, where is the shortage? Shortage is here. How much shortage? 1000 shortage. Why 1000 shortage? 500 to rectify this, another 500 for bringing the credit balance. So total shortage is 1000. So this shortage would have already been posted to suspense account because this transaction is pertaining to last year. So suspense account is having a credit balance. So to rectify this, what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to debit suspense account and to the account is the entry. Suspense account debit to C account for 1000 rupees I need to. This is how the transaction has to be recorded. Clear? 500 rupees due by Mr. Q was omitted to be taken to the trial balance. See, when I prepare the trial balance, this is debit, this is credit. Due by Mr. Q, that means what? Q has to pay for us. If Q has to pay, he comes under receivable. I'm yet to receive this amount from Q. This amount is receivable from Q. Receivable from Q is a debit balance, asset, current asset. Since it is a current asset, I have to debit this 500 rupees. This 500 I would have debited, but I did not debit this. Since it is not debited, my 500 rupees balance would be showing, credit higher and shortage in debit. Shortage in debit would have been posted to where? Suspense account. So my suspense account was having debit of 500. So if I want to rectify the suspense account, I need to credit suspense account. Suspense account credit. Which account I need to debit? My accounts receivable. Because Q account, you can write Q account debit to suspense account, or you can say trade receivables account debit to suspense account. So either way you can write this entry and close it. Trade receivable is nothing but amount receivable, account receivable, or you can debit Q account also. There is no wrong in that. So you can debit Q account and credit suspense account. Here the point is whenever I'm talking about suspense account, you have to listen to this discussion very carefully. Why am I saying suspense account has debit balance here? Previously also I said the suspense account is having credit balance. Why am I saying that suspense account is having credit balance? If you could catch hold of that point, your entries will be very easy for you to. That is the reason you have to carefully listen to this video. Then you will understand why am I talking suspense account has a credit balance previously. Now I have to rectify, I have to debit it. If previously suspense account was having a debit balance, now I have to rectify, though I have to credit it. This is how I'm explaining, right? When I'm explaining, you have to be very carefully listen. If you have any doubts, please comment on the video. I'll try to clarify. Okay, right. Move on to the next point. Sale of goods to Mr. R 2000 was omitted to be recorded. Sale of goods to Mr. R. So when we sell the goods to R, what entry we write? R account debit to sales account. Correct? So R account debit is correct. We have to write, but you can't write to credit to sales account. Why you cannot write to sales account? Sales account was already transferred to P&L account in last year. The sale account was already transferred to profit and loss account. How, on what basis I'm saying? Because these errors are identified in next year. Since the errors are identified in next year, that means what? This sale is pertaining to previous year. The previous entry would have already been closed. Sale account was already closed and transferred to profit and loss account. There is no sales account of last year now. Since there is no sale account of last year, how can you credit to sales account? Should not. Which account you are supposed to credit? All nominal accounts to be adjusted to profit and loss adjustment. Profit and loss adjustment account debit credit. So entry is R account debit to P&L adjustment account. The entry. Clear? Next. Amount of 2395 of purchase was wrongly posted as 2590. 2593 is the wrong amount. Actual amount is 2395. The difference is 198 rupees. 198 rupees excess debited in purchase account. 198 rupees excess debited in purchase account. If it is excess debited, where is the shortage? Shortage is here, credit side. If the shortage is in credit side, what I am supposed to do? This amount would have been transfer to suspense account. Suspense account was having credit balance. How did I say a suspense account credit balance? Because the shortage is in credit side. So credit side, I transfer to suspense account and lying there. Now I have to rectify. If I want to rectify, what I'm supposed to do? Suspense account debit 198 rupees, and I cannot credit to purchase account. Why I cannot purchase credit to purchase account? Purchase account was already closed because it is pertaining to previous year. Since it is pertaining to previous year, it was already transferred to profit and loss account. Since there is no purchase account now, which account I am supposed to use? Profit and loss adjustment account. So suspense account debit to profit and loss adjustment account is the entry you need to put. Are you getting my point? Let me see. See, this is how the entry has to be. Clear? Right. So now we posted all the entries, 8 entries. And this depreciation also we have given impact. Now what we are supposed to do is, you need to prepare profit and loss adjustment account and suspense account. Both accounts you need to prepare. What for that, what you need to do is, I'll show you how to prepare. It is very easy. You don't require to be break your head. So profit and loss adjustment account. Wherever you see profit and loss adjustment account, you need to post entry. See here, profit and loss adjustment account 2700 is created. What did we do here? 2700 is created. Next, here suspense account debit to profit and loss adjustment account 10,000 credited. So here 10,000 is credited, right? Here 10,000 is credited. Then go up and see next entry. Here profit and loss adjustment account is debited with 4,000. So see whether 4,000 is debited here. See 4,000 is debited here. This is the 4,000 he debited. Next go up and see where is that B account to A account, there is no profit and loss adjustment account. Suspense account to C account, there is no profit and loss adjustment account. Trade receivable account debit to suspense account, there is no profit and loss adjustment account. So next one is R account debit to profit and loss adjustment account. Here profit and loss adjustment account is credited. So let me go and see whether profit and loss account is credited. So wherever profit and loss adjustment account is there, we have already posted. Now balance it. Once you balance, the balance has come. No, one more entry is also there. Sorry, suspense account debit to profit and loss adjustment account 198. So profit and loss adjustment account is created to the extent of 198. I credited. So you total this. Credit is higher side 14,898. Put the same total here and deduct 4,000 and you get 10,898. This 10,898 has to be adjusted against profit and loss account of capital account of ROI. Why capital account of ROI has to be adjusted? This is prior period profit. This is the prior period profit. Since it is prior period profit, that prior period profit has to be adjusted to capital account. That is the reason this has to be transferred to capital account. It has to be transferred to capital account. Be very clear why this is transferred to capital account. This is pertaining to prior period profit. Since it is pertaining to whatever profit we get, you get to know all these things while explaining the profit and loss account and balance sheet, final accounts chapter. Till such time you have to hold your understanding here. Whenever you have a profit or loss, that has to be adjusted against the capital account of the proprietor. So since it is the profit, this profit has to be adjusted against to the capital account of the proprietor. So that is the reason why this has been transferred to their capital account. Clear? Right. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to prepare suspense account. Here suspense account, what did we do? Suspense account we need to prepare similar way. So go up and see what and all transactions we posted to suspense account. In first entry there is no suspense. Second entry there is a suspense account debit of 10,000. See 10,000 debited or not? See 10,000 is debited in suspense account. Next go up. Second entry is over. Third entry there is no suspense account. Fourth entry there is no suspense account. Fifth entry suspense account is debited with 1,000. See 1,000 is debited here. Suspense account is debited with 1,000. Here. Next. Trade receivable account debit, suspense account credit. Here suspense account is created with 500. Go and see whether 500 is created. Yes, 500 is created. Then what we are supposed to do? Next entry. Is there any entry in suspense account or nothing? Then what we are supposed to do is we need to balance this account. So debit side is having 11,198. 11,198 we need to put in credit side and deduct 500. You get 10,698 is the closing balance. This closing balance has to be transferred to again capital account. So this has to be transferred to Rise capital account. So why Rise capital account? By Rise capital. So that means what entry we post for this? The entry is here. We have written those two entries. You can have a look so that you will get a clarity. Here profit and loss here. First go to this account. Profit and loss adjustment account is debited to Rise capital. So profit and loss adjustment account debited to Rise capital account 10,898 we posted. And here in suspense account, what we did, suspense account after balancing, we have got the balance in credit side by Rise capital. So Rise capital account has to be debited and suspense account has to be credited. So to the extent of 10,698 is the balance we transfer to capital account. So this is how this problem has to be worked out. If you have any doubts and if you do not get any clarity, and you can comment on my video, I'm very happy to uh, clarify your doubts. Okay, so I hope you are clear with the content, and if you like the content, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with your friends and colleagues. Right? Thank you so much.